You are welcome to another interesting session on your favorite platform, Literature Hub 247, the gateway to understanding literature in English. This video is about an African poem titled Not My Business. Not My Business is composed by Niyi Osundare. This poem is an African poem and it's part of the Waec new syllabus, that is 2026 to 2030 syllabus. I've earlier presented a comprehensive review of this poem on this platform. So if you have interest in knowing something about this poem, you can send your request through the comment section and the link will be sent to you. In fact, it's very important for you to have learned something about Not My Business before you watch this video, because this particular video is about a Waec-standard question on the poem. So it's necessary for you to understand the content of the poem before you watch this video. So request for the link and I will send it to you. So before we go to the classroom, I will also use this medium to introduce one of my books to you. Exam Ready. Exam Ready contains 200 Waec-style questions and the model answers. It is based on 2026 to 2030 Waec syllabus, where the Waec guidelines are strictly followed in answering the questions. You know, we don't have past questions yet on this syllabus, that's 2026 to 2030 syllabus. So this book it serves as an ebook that gives us an idea of likely Waec questions and how to answer the questions. So I'm going to leave the link in the description of this video for you to download. You are welcome to the classroom. Now let's look at the questions. Let's look at the question rather. How does Niyi Osundare use repetition to reinforce the message of Not My Business? How does Niyi Osundare use repetition to reinforce the message of Not My Business? So what we need to do is we have to study the question very well and analyze it. If there is any literary device mentioned in the question, so we have to explain the meaning of the literary device related to a relevant theme before we answer the question. So if you look at the question very well, you see that there is a literary device there, that is repetition. So that's the first thing we have to do. We explain the meaning of repetition. So repetition is a literary device in which words, phrases, or lines are deliberately repeated for emphasis, rhythm, or to reinforce a message. In poetry, repetition can make an idea memorable, highlight its importance, and create a sense of rhythm or inevitability. In Niyi Osundare is Not My Business, repetition is a central device that reinforces the themes of selfishness, complacency, and the inevitability of injustice. Let's quote from the poem. What business of mine is it, so long they don't take the yam from my savouring mouth? This is repeated after each incident involving Akani, Danladi, and Chinwe. Somebody is saying that because the person is feeling unconcerned about what is happening to others. Firstly, this repetition highlights the selfish detachment of the speaker. Instead of being concerned about the brutality Akani suffers, the abduction of Danladi, or the unjust dismissal of Chinwe, the speaker keeps insisting that it is none of his business, as long as his own comfort, the yam, quote and unquote, remains untouched. That yam is his own comfort. So far, it's not disturbed from taking his yam. He feels unconcerned. The refrain emphasizes the narrow-mindedness of people who ignore the suffering of others until it affects them. Secondly, repetition creates a pattern of oppression. Each stanza begins with the victimization of someone and ends with the same refrain, giving the sense that injustice is recurring and systematic in society. It shows that dictatorship and abuse of power affects different people in different ways. Yet, the outcome is always the same: silence and fear. Thirdly, when the repetition is finally broken in the last stanza, the effect is striking. The expected refrain is replaced by the speaker's own tone as a victim. So he has now become a victim like others. And then one evening, this is being quoted from the poem. And then one evening, as I sat down to eat my yam, a knock on the door froze my hungry hand, quote unquote. This sudden break in the pattern shocks the reader and shows the futility of selfishness. The very oppression the speaker ignored now consumes him. Through this, Osundare links repetition to the theme of collective responsibility. The repeated refrain warns that if individuals remain indifferent, oppression will continue until it finally affects everyone. The device therefore reinforces the moral lesson that injustice must be confronted, not ignored. In conclusion, repetition in Not My Business is not mere ornament. It is a structural and thematic device that is laying out the theme. By repeating the refrain, Osundare underscores selfishness and indifference, while also building towards the climax where the speaker learns too late that injustice against one is injustice against all. So that's the answer to that question. Let's look at the question again. How does Niyi Osundare use repetition to reinforce the message of Not My Business? As I said earlier, you first explain the meaning of repetition, relate it to a relevant theme. Go ahead and answer the question. Please, if you are new on this platform, try and click on the subscribe button and the bell icon so that you'll be part of this class. And whenever any video is produced, you are going to be notified. Like this video. You are free to share any of my videos on any social media platform. Invite your friends and colleagues to join us. If you have any question, just send the request to the comment section and it will be attended to. You can also request for any of the poem, any of the text in the 2026 to 2030 syllabus, and I will send it to you. Thank you and God bless. Let's meet in the next class.